Today we decided to go ahead and
do the preview in pure fashion pre-podcast.
Yeah, so we're downtown Beaufort, South Carolina, and we're getting ready to do our podcast today. So we have Jake Maxey on, and he's got a couple aspects. One, he's an engineer, and so he's in the AEC industry, the E, engineering, and also he's an electrical engineer, so he's a double E. So Jake he's become a friend of mine because I met him on LinkedIn, and he actually was one of the people that encouraged me to be to start a podcast. So this is kind of a special podcast for me for that reason.
Oh, that's
nice. Yeah, I'm excited to learn a lot about him.
You know, you said you met him on LinkedIn. I think you said, didn't you say he's an electrical engineer?
Right, he's electrical, and he's got his own podcast as well, Impactful Engineer. We're going to hear about that. Is there any engaging question that you might want to know about from a electrical engineer that has their own podcast?
That's a key element there. He has his own podcast.
Yeah. So
I guess kind of, since I would like to know what inspired that. You said he does it with his brother. Is he also an engineer? You know, some points like that, you know.
Yeah. So his brother is Steve and Jake. And Steve is more of a product engineer, is what I understand. So I'll find out and confirm that. I've listened to the podcast a few times. It's a pretty good podcast, by the way. Check it out, Impactful Engineer. And they talk a lot about what it says, how to be more impactful as in this engineer industry as an engineer. Probably applies to others in the AEC industry as well. So yeah. You could apply to you if you want to impact people and just like success, life, life habits, life tips. Like for example, one of them was on one of the episodes was on like how to communicate better, and that was one that I listened to not too long ago. So yeah, that's what we have to look forward to. Well, I hope everybody enjoys the podcast today, and we're going to have a good time. Hey, everybody, my name is Andy Richardson, and this is our producer, Madeline, and this is the Enhance AEC podcast, where we interview professionals in the AEC industry and find out what their what and their why is, and how they enhance the world around them. Let's get started.
Welcome to Enhance, an AEC podcast, where we learn the why behind AEC professionals so that you can learn your why.
Well, Jake, welcome to the Enhance podcast.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Thanks for being on today. So, or should I call you Mario?
Mario?
Mario Andretti. I'm giving you a hard time because I was listening to your podcast, and this was probably several episodes back, and you were talking about a crazy reckless driving experience you had as a high school kid, and you got pulled over from the cops and everything. So yeah. I was like, one day I'm gonna get him on that one.
This sounds right. Yeah, totally.
Does
multiple occasions
Do you remember that story?
Oh my gosh! My story, my greatest story with the car was when I was 24 years old, actually. Newly married, had a kid, my daughter was just born, and then I'm still a child, so I'm driving around in my 240 in my little sports car, my Nissan, and thinking that I'm all great, and I chose an area that was totally like there's no traffic, it's long country roads, it's kind of middle of nowhere but still in the town, so I'm like, all right, let's go mess around. And then of course the one fire hydrant that is within half a mile of the entire place, my car was like attracted to it, and so I hit it, sheared it right off, water everywhere, causing all sorts of problems. Yeah, it was great. I mean, look it up.
If you just that was the one.
Was it?
I don't remember. I thought it was something about a ditch, or I forgot. It was the hydrant.
I wish I could say that it was still high school, but nope, just Jake being dumb.
Hey man, we're all kids at heart, even I was doing something with uh, the cousins and the kids the other day, and I had to be all-time quarterback, and I was like, when do I get to play? you know. And anyway, I was like, I'm a kid too, but it was fun. So because Thanksgiving and all, but
Yeah.
so that was a little bit of a intro question, and then I like to do a kind of a curveball. But so here's your curveball question: is there like an interesting ritual or habit that you do on your projects? Like baseball players like to do rituals and things, but is there a ritual that you have, or maybe a superstition even, but anything like that you do on projects?
Yeah, I like that. No rituals. I'm not a ritual person. If it was a ritual, it's just go and do. It's not, take too long to think about things and struggle that way. It's just do the work as quickly as possible. I don't know. Drink coffee, lots of coffee.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean it's
I'm a caffeine addict for sure. Almost to a point where I need to start worrying about it, but we're not quite there yet. So let's worry about that later.
yeah. I discovered decaf recently, so I was like, yeah, maybe I could kind of pipe down some of that.
Yeah.
Um,
Nah, no dirty socks, no wearing my underwear for a week straight, nothing like that.
yeah, sounds good. Well, so I guess really, um, I want to start off with a more traditional question of, how did you get started in engineering? How did you get started in the AEC industry at large? What drew you to this?
So, nothing drew me to it. I had made my way through college because I said I was going to, and I'm not a quitter. So I got my electrical engineering degree, which is great. Decided that I was going to stick with the job I was working out of college, which was managing a pizza place, and it was making me good money, and it was a ton of fun, and so I was thinking ownership and opening stores and doing all that, and I'm like, yeah, engineering, whatever. And then things happen, and so I my wife took an opportunity back home in my hometown of Reading, and so I'm like, all right, yeah, we can do that. And this pizza place thing is kind of scary. We're married now, and we have a kid on the way, and pizza restaurants like people drop off, and you got to be there all the time. So restaurants like you really got to be married to it. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll quit that. And then my grandpa heard that I was moving back home, and he had started an engineering firm decades before, and this was long ago, and he's no longer part of it. But he was like, hey, I heard you're moving back. Will you get a real job now? I'm like, sure. What do you got for me? And so that's how I got into the AEC world. So he had started a electrical engineering firm back in the 80s. And
Okay,
said,
so
hey,
you didn't. That wasn't something you planned. Was working
no,
for your grandfather?
I had no idea what building systems engineering even was. Or like construction. Like I knew that there had to be some sort of construction field because things were built, but yeah, I knew nothing.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, like that's your grandfather, but you really didn't know what he did, right?
Right. Well, and the truth is, like, step grandfather, part of the family, but saw him once or twice a year. I was moved to, I'm being a kid. I'm out studying. I'm way away from it. But yeah, like, it is kind of crazy. I
Yeah,
had no
you
idea
moved
they
it
had started
out.
this firm. I'm like, oh, really? And that takes engineering. Yeah. Oh, because I was all about like theory and microelectronics, and they were teaching me all about programming stuff and building amplifiers and processing digital signals and stuff. And I'm just like, this is terrible. I don't like this at all. Like, is there something else? And then even looking for an AC power class or some sort of motors class or anything, it wasn't even offered. There was no teacher to teach that. This school was heavily focused on microelectronics and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
um,
but that's
no
probably
idea it existed.
to the it's a good mix, I think, because it sounds like you really like the building side, but you have
Yes.
the electrical degree.
Right. And just so happens it is a baseline requirement to become a professional engineer in this field. So good
You
thing.
gotta have the degree, right?
That's right. Good thing I got it.
So what town was that? Was that Pennsylvania, Reading, or
Nope. This is Redding, Reading, and this is in California.
okay, California? Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So Yeah, I'm a little bit familiar with that, and a lot of, the Reading Railroad, but it's actually pronounced Reading, but this is California, different one.
Yeah, this is a whole different land from the East Coast, which is where I'm at now.
So that was in California, but now you're over on the East Coast.
Right.
Right, you're in Massachusetts area.
Yep.
And did you, so you continued to work for the grandfather's company, or?
Yeah, I spent like 7 years there. So that's where I learned a lot of the stuff that I know today.
So I got my producer here
company.
today, Madeline, and she's gave me the 6-7 symbol right there.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
I steer clear from that stuff. My kids talk about it, and I'm just like, they seem to be over it too already. So
yeah, the most part it is. So that's the first time it made it to the podcast. So
Nice.
Hopefully the last. Anyway, but we got to have a little laugh here and there too.
Yeah.
So, well, that's awesome to kind of hear about how you got started with it, and really an interesting start. But what I think the thing that I wanted to sort of play off of for a moment was this idea, because this is the Enhanced podcast. We talk about enhancing the world around us, and what does that really mean? I mean, I get a sense from you that's really important to you, like with your podcast, et cetera, as well. And I mean, just reading your bio and the kind of thought you put into your business plan for your new business. But the thing I was going to tie into with like your grandfather's business is just that 2-generation difference. And we think what we're doing is so big, right? Like such a big deal, like today's projects and this and that. And yet our grandkids probably won't even know what we do, right?
Right. Yeah.
They may not. They may know, right? I mean, they might. Oh, my dad did something building or engineering, or I'm not my dad, but my grandfather.
Right.
Even my kids barely know what I do. So I don't know. There was just something to that. I mean, do you think that helps give us some perspective when we think about those type things, as far as what type of value we put on our work? Does it make us put more value or less value, or like having a higher purpose to it?
Yeah. Usually when I'm using that frame, like nobody's gonna remember, or nobody really is gonna know. Like just a couple generations away, it's like they're not really gonna know what you did or truly who you were or whatever. Usually when I'm using that, it's to lessen my anxiety, because despite what people think about me, I do have a ton of anxiety. I just know how to like throw it away. I know how to get rid of it quick. And that's one of my frames, is like, dude, you think it's so important right now and everything's so urgent, and just like, oh, so we got to get it done. And you just have this like freak out, and then you go, dude, nobody's going to care in a couple of generations. Quite honestly, no one's going to care. No one's going to remember. No one cares now even. So why would we care later? Why would we care now? So that helps me like kind of calm down. But for my work, I think it just shows me that it's more important, I think, to go kind of like horizontal with the influence and the mentorship, and bring a large group of people up with you, integrated into what you're doing, so that you can raise your community with you. You can bring people that may not have known about AEC with you, give them a taste of it. That's why I'm involved in the ACE Rhode Island affiliate for the ACE mentorship program. It just shows kids exactly what AEC is all about, and the paths and the careers that you can take. So I think really, if it's something to do with work and our projects and stuff, I think it's not you that is important in the project. It's that everybody can join in on the process, learn a few things, and it's not about just being very narrow with your success. It's about sharing that success, if that makes any sense.
It does. I mean, and that's where that does matter. That will impact. I mean, and that's your podcast, right? Impactful Engineer. I mean, that will impact future generations, because you're doing something that matters. I mean, and to be fair, the work we do does matter, right? I mean, not to belittle that, but I think the the way we approach it, like that it's the end of the world kind of thing, that's where we have to be careful about it. But yeah, there's certainly the work we do, the buildings that we're designing, and the work we do in that regard, certainly I think matters.
Absolutely.
Right? It's important.
I mean, people are going to use that they're going to use what is constructed for so long, right? It's going to be a huge asset to them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's probably why it's important to take time to do it right.
Yes, certainly do it right.
And really think about that impact, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely spend a lot of time mentoring people, like the organizations you just mentioned. Obviously, I met you on LinkedIn, and I just noticed how you were reaching out to people, just providing your insight. I haven't really seen that post in a while. I guess it's time to drop another one out, maybe. But I certainly appreciate you doing that. It's encouraging to me, and I took you up on it, right? I mean, even though I'm not necessarily a wet behind the ears engineer, but I was like, you know what, I have an interest in podcasting, and so you were encouragement to me to start this podcast. So this has been a long time coming, actually, for us to have this today. So it's been pretty exciting to have you on.
It's cool to see, and hopefully you just keep on going, get to that 100.
Yeah, I don't know where we're at now, but we're getting there. I think we're about a quarter of the way, so we're going to keep going. So definitely you're an inspiration to me. So and I know a lot of others. So keep doing it. What is it that, I mean, we mentioned like the generational aspect. Is there anything else that encourages you or inspires you to go ahead and be this mentor to other people?
Yeah, for sure. It's the mentoring that I received growing up, of course, and then this recent like 10 to 15 year stretch of personal development that I dove into when I had this moment when I was younger, and I'm just like, you know what, there's got to be somewhere to point all this energy that I have in a constructive way and become a better person, So I started looking for mentors of my own, and I found them online through podcasting. And so years of that, and then hearing one of the podcasters that I listened to say that you're most qualified to help the person you used to be. And I was like, that's so cool. That clicked for me really well. And so I'm like, how do I do that? So I started really pouring into that at work. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm getting higher in the rung and moving up the ladder, and I've got these positions where I can have, people under me, and I'm a manager. Oh, cool. I'm starting to see these people that used to be just like me. And so then I get to start mentoring like crazy. So that was great. But there's also, there's always a selfish motivation too. Like, gonna be honest that getting out there, meeting people, mentoring is very beneficial to me as well. It enhances my skills in communication. I learn more about human connection than I ever had just doing my own work and staring at a computer, right? So it's to benefit me, it's to benefit them, and ultimately what I'm looking for is growth. I want to continue to grow, and I have so much drive and energy that if I don't put it into something constructive, it becomes destructive pretty quick. So I just want to stay focused and pursue things that are worth pursuing and be useful. That's my biggest thing that I tell everybody. I just want to be useful. And I feel pretty good if I can do that. So I might as well do that. And I think going outside of myself and helping others is a great way to do that. It's been really great the last 10, 15 years. So
yeah, awesome, Jake. And was there somebody that, well, I guess on the podcast front, was there something that you really benefited from the most, that like a mentor from that standpoint?
Yeah, so just out of being online, and cruising Instagram when it was first coming out, and I found that I met someone that had the energy that I had, right? Curse like a sailor, just really loud, right? This is a very different version of me today. Excited just all the time. Never wanted to be this destructive force, but kind of was, because we're just so loud and obnoxious, kind of. Anyway, I found that person. I'm like, oh, I really. And just so happens that that person had my mentality, but was also teaching people how to point it in the right direction, how to control yourself, how to be a positive force in the world, how to, you know, basically a personal development guru is what they would be labeled, right?
Yeah.
But I found them. It was relevant to me. I'm like, dude, I like the way you talk, and you're saying things like, you know, you're just great that you have a plan, but then you're gonna get punched in the mouth. Then what? You know, everybody gets punched in the face. You think you're gonna do great, and then you're gonna get kicked. Your teeth are gonna get kicked in, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like life to me. But then on the other side of that, right, there's why is that? How do we roll with life when it does kick us in the face? You know, and so that was my entry into it. So then they started teaching me just about, you know, it's all the same stuff. Control your like not controlling your emotions, but how we all have emotions. So what do you do with them when they show up? And so it started to guide me. That was my foray into personal development.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah.
awesome. But that was just you. It wasn't a podcast per se. It was just somebody you met like on Instagram.
It was a random reel that I saw, and the guy was like, "Yeah, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth." And I'm like, "Oh, this is interesting."
Yeah.
And then yes, they did have a podcast, and so I found that, started listening to the episodes, and it was all about personal development,
Yeah.
but delivered in a way that I like it to be delivered, right? So that
Sure.
was
Well, that's the cool thing
Thankfully.
about podcasting is you just have all these different podcasts, and sometimes you'll find one that resonates with you. So,
and it can be the same information. You're
yeah.
just like, I don't like the way this is delivered, and I'll never listen to this again. You know, it can totally be true.
Yeah. Um, and how about at your work or in your career? Is there somebody that took you under their wing early on or that helped you out?
Yeah, there's always been, you know, that one manager and leader that sees the potential in you and kind of just provides that extra level of mentorship, goes a little farther in teaching and pointing you in the right direction, you know. So I do owe a lot of that, that early growth to the opportunities given and the ability to make some mistakes and just be like, hey, man, we make mistakes. Just keep going. Just don't do that again. It's like, all right, cool. Won't do that again, you know. So, yeah, people at work have, there's been a couple of, and teachers too. Like even back to high school, I can remember back to sixth grade, and then my first grade teacher was great. So like there definitely are those key people that I can absolutely remember throughout the years that were very influential. So
Yeah. How would we be where we are today without teachers and the people that, I mean, in the engineering field, much like architecture, I mean, you have to have a mentor really to work under.
that's
To
right.
get your PE. I mean, you can't get without it, maybe they're not necessarily a mentor per se.
Right.
Um,
But you can
some
find
are more
yourself
than others.
chasing after one as soon as that deadline comes up. I just
Yeah.
dropped an episode on that actually. I think it's the latest one.
Oh, going to get
Hey, here's what you need to think about 4 years before you're ready to get your PE, and it'll make your life so much easier. So I
Right,
kind of like
yeah.
laid it out. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a good episode. Yeah, I mean,
The
start thinking about that stuff beforehand, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to like 4 years.
But like I remembered that because the mentioning the mentors, it's like, yeah, you do. And I think there's like 3 of them. And I don't know if the rules have changed, but you got to have multiple engineers that are licensed to sign off on.
Right.
On
Well, you
stuff,
got to have
you know?
one. You have to work under one, but then you also have to have, I think, 4 or 5
Yeah, it's probably
in
more.
our state that can attest to your engineering
Yep.
abilities, basically. And then, of course, you have to have even more that attest to that are not engineers that attest to your ethics,
Yep.
your character. So you got to be smart and ethical to be an engineer, right?
Yeah.
So you just you've been on your own. What has it been, a year now?
That's coming up on it. I started a company. I started my company earlier this year I think it was the middle of January.
Okay.
Tried to get as much runway as I could with that company before I quit my job. So I quit my job in June of this year.
Okay.
So I've been full-time coming up on 6 months now.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
How is business ownership?
I think it's great. I'm happier than I've ever been with my job, like with work. Work has been great. I love working. That's I've had this work ethic that's just crazy off the wall like my entire life. It's just I was born with it for sure. So I love work. Like anything I'm doing to work, I just love work. But this is definitely the freest, like the most free I felt, and to do my own thing and to explore my curiosities and to test things out without because I you can't test a whole bunch of stuff when you're an employee that has a certain job that has a utilization rate and people are on you, and you can't you have these things you got to do. And being on my own, it's like, okay, I have the quickest conversations in the world. I'm like, should we change this? And I go, yeah, sure. Okay, cool, it's done. All right, do we got to check with anybody? No, just me. Okay, cool, approved. And then we test it, and then it falls flat. You get no response. It's terrible. Cool, what about that was terrible? All right, we're going to move that into something else. I'm going to move quick. And you don't have to like debrief or explain why you did that, or here's what I would have done. And it's like, yeah, but I learned a whole bunch from that, So there's I guess what I'm saying is there's way less friction. I'm just so free to do what I want. If it fails, it's my problem. If it succeeds, it's my problem. If I have to go back to work, that's my problem. If I can't pay my bills, that's my problem. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But
yeah, welcome to entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody, like a lot of people that I talk to are very scared of doing it. They're like, have you thought about this? And I'm like, no. And they're like, how could you not have thought about that? I'm like, I don't know. Because maybe it would scare me into not doing it. I'd rather just not know. Like,
I mean, this is a guy that runs, over the speed limit on a 240Z
right.
and hit the hydrant. I mean, so that's why right there.
Did you know that roads are slick and it's a rear-wheel drive car? You put too much power to the wheel, you're gonna slide everywhere. It's like, yeah, I know. Cool.
I didn't think about that, and it was like afterwards, like, yeah, I could have hit a fire hydrant. But you know what? And that's so true. It's almost like, oh man, how did I get by? All those years. In your case, how did I get by at all? In that first year, but you do somehow.
You do.
And you're an engineer, so you had a plan. You sort of built the book of business beforehand. You weren't totally out to lunch, right? Like you.
Kinda. I kinda had a plan. Yeah. Well, I've been wanting to start a business for so long. Basically, when I was I wanted to open up restaurants. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Business is great.
Yeah.
I've wanted to, but then it's you start a family. You settle down, you buy a house. Now you have a mortgage. Now you have like the bills are stacking up, and then there's this health insurance thing that you have to pay for, and then so if you leave your job, there's this whole premium that you got to pay for in your health insurance. It's like, okay, and so all these things stack on you and they scare you, and you go, okay, next year, we'll make, and then the debt piles up, and then so I was literally like, well, when are we going to start this business thing? And so we kind of we had a half-baked plan, my wife and I said, okay, 2 years from this day. I made it about 6 months, and then I just quit my job. I'm like, I'm going to go crazy, and things are going to get just, frankly, like kind of nasty. Like I'm going to be in a bad mood. Like this is really starting to pile on me. I need to start my own business like right now. And then she's finally like, okay, let's do it. And I'm like, I know you're scared, like, but so I had no savings, tons of bills, and I just did it. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna figure it out, because we always do. We've always figured it out in the past. Like, insert problem. Oh, we've got to overcome it easily. Why are we always here and always make our payments? Why do we always have groceries? Why do we always have new clothes for the kids? Why do we always get to take a nice little vacation every year? Why? Because we make it happen, right? Okay, cool. Well, insert this big problem like a job salary going away and health benefits, and shove it here and say, here's our new set of problems. Okay, let's overcome them. And that's what we did.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, so the real, okay, is I have whatever amount of money in my 401k. And I don't look at my 401k as the end all be all, gonna take care of me when I'm older. I don't. I look at the business as gonna generate me some great money and value and wealth. That's what I look at. I don't even care about the 401k in my mind. So I was like, okay, if I have to, I can just withdraw some stuff. Well, don't you know there's penalties and taxes and all these things to think about? And I go, sure. But that's just another fear to make me not do it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the real is, okay, 1 or 2 months I've had to take a little chunk out and pay the bills. When here's the discussions, it was like, how about we just not pay our mortgage this month? How about that? And then we'll get it next month. I'll go sell really hard and we'll get some deposits and I'll pay for it. They're not going to foreclose on our house instantaneously. We've been paying this bank for years. We've made them tons of money. We miss one payment. I'll call them on the phone and I'll say, hey, Jake here. You've never heard from me because I've always paid you. Hello. Not going to make it this month. I'll get you next month. But, you know, I
haven't had to do that yet.
I would have done that, but, you know, it's not the best plan to keep everybody feeling good in the household. So I was like, all right, I'll take some money out, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just, maybe to a fault, I'm not scared of doing these things. But I always tell I'm like, I would live in a box. I feel great. I would feel great living in a box and having my own company. But I got to take care of the family, you know.
Right.
They can't live in a box. You know?
A lot of times, yeah, we have to take care of our ladies, right? So
that's right. we can't just let everybody down.
Now, do you have any employees? Is it you?
I don't have any employees. No, I don't. I use contractors.
You have some contractors that you work with. So
Yep.
like they are hourly, they work contract amount, or
yeah, hourly, fixed, whatever's good.
you kind of
Whatever looks good for the project. Yeah, for them, they're happy with it. I'm happy with it. Then we do it.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. And are they just people that you've worked with in the past? They're doing this on the side, like.
Yeah, that's why it's so great to have good relationships with all people around you and have a good network, because you know there's going to be a lot of them that want to do side work, that want to get more experience, that are happy to be freelancers, and so they're, you know, and today makes it really easy, right? You can connect with people so easily, and a lot of engineers now are doing work on the side, or that's their whole business model, is being a freelancer.
Right.
So plenty of people that know how to run software and put things together, produce, you know way more than I would ever know about putting a great model together. And I don't need to be doing that. Like, I'm giving away everything here, but I don't need to be working in a model and slaving away and putting in boxes and oh, the receptacle goes here and the light goes here, and dang it, I'm fighting the reference plane. Why is this not working? And call the architect and be like, where's your ceiling? You know, like, it disappeared. Oh, the light fixture's on the floor. Why would the owner of the business be doing that? You know,
right.
That's for people that want to do that are good at it, and that are fast at it. You know,
Yeah, I don't know how to use Revit, and I've actually had this conversation with another architect who runs a business, and he's really good at Revit, and he runs his own business, and he does, you know, have a team and everything, but I mean, he can get in there, and he's the best at Revit, in fact, for his company, and it's interesting because he's like, you know, you really need to know Revit because these are the buildings you're designing, and you need to be able to spin it around, and so I've sort of like thought about that, and currently I don't use Revit. I mean, we're structural, but you know, we're still designing buildings from a structural standpoint, but anyway, so maybe I will at one point, but you know, it's just there's always 10, 11, or 20 things to do, right?
Yeah, I would say if it becomes a strategic advantage for you, then sure. But I don't know that doing Revit yourself as the business owner is ever going to make it to the top and be your constraint that's going to grow your business. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but it's one of those things. It's like maybe it would help to be a better mentor if I could, you know, at least understand it. And you know, I like.
Sure.
I'm an engineer, so I like understanding how things work, and I don't really see myself doing all the Revit, but maybe it would help to say, hey, what if you tried it this way, but I don't know what this way looks like yet, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I have been doing it for several years. We've been using Revit for about 8 years now. And
Yeah.
pretty much when I started 2096, we went Revit. And I haven't really turned back, but I don't know how to, I do know how to double click on the thing, text boxes
There you go.
and change the text.
I know enough to get into trouble. The people I work with have been using it since 2014, and so I know enough to get in there, change things. But I'm really happy that I'm not the greatest at it, because it keeps me from wanting to do it myself. That would just be another thing that I would have to overcome. You know,
Exactly.
because I've seen way too many managers and engineers that are 30-year veterans, 20-year veterans that just know so much about engineering and should be directing and making high-level decisions and saving people from putting in underrated equipment or something that positions the owner or the architect in a really bad spot. They should be looking for those things, and instead they're on the computer, like doing lighting photometrics or something. Like, and I almost would feel a very strong pull to do that, because I like to work. I like to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy that I don't know, because it's just another, tendency that I don't have to manage. Like, I could just be like, okay, I don't need to do this. Yeah. So.
And that's pretty much was my thought process, generally speaking, was if I burn it down, like burn down the ships, right? And so if you burn down the ships, then you have to figure it out, and that's kind of what I did. I just said, I'm not going to install such and such program, because then, like Revit, for example, or maybe an engineering program, because it's going to force me to lead the team and show them how to do it and build a system to do it. And you can because you can always just do it yourself, quote unquote, right? But that's not really leadership. That's just doing it yourself.
That's right. Yep.
So, congratulations on starting your company. That's pretty exciting. Let's talk about electrical engineering for a moment. I mean,
let's do it.
Because you're my first electrical engineer on here.
Cool.
I mean, Stoney, he came on. He does a little bit of all three, kind of MEP, but pure electrical. So that's exciting.
Cue the post-processing cheers. Woo! Put that in there.
So, and you work as an electrical engineer for building design, right? Pretty much. Is that correct?
Yep.
So what do you do? Like, who do you work for? What is an electrical engineer? Because we're generic. We're AEC, so we have some people with maybe all different facets. So and I don't really know what you do. So help me understand.
Cool. Well, I'll start with like BD mode, Jake. We help electrical contractors and architects look good. That's what we do.
Ooh, I like that.
Right? So that's it. If you're an electrical contractor or an architect and you want to have successful projects, look good, and everybody on the team feels great about what's happening with the project, communication is clear, money is being saved, corners are not being cut, that's what we do. So that's NLS. That's what we're trying to build as the standard. What do I actually do? So everybody kind of gets the building systems engineering, and that, there's systems in buildings, and we've got to design them, right? There's the overarching codes. There's, the reason we're professional engineers is to ensure the life safety of the public and the people within the building, right? This is our core tenet, okay? But electrical engineers, so a lot to do with electrical safety, and we're providing, so if you go from like a fire alarm standpoint, we're providing notification and detection, and so we want to know as soon as possible if there's a problem, and we want to let people know to get out as soon as possible, and we want them to know where to go, right? And so electrical engineers have all of that in their purview, down to lighting, exit signs, signage, telling you where to go, how to get out, and how to do it safely, right? So we're designing to codes, okay? But we're also designing to functionality of the building. So you need to bring power in somewhere, right? So we're coordinating with the utility. The company is, it's a grid company. They're not supplying electricity, but they're just transmitting it and bringing it to your building, right? So we start there and we bring it into the building. There's a whole bunch of technical jargon and safety stuff with that. But basically, we're bringing power to your building. We're bringing data interconnectivity to your building so that you can run the machines that you need to run within your building, run your lights, power your office workstations if it's an office building, power your semiconductor fab if it's a manufacturing plant. So from the simple, even just single family residence, all the way up to a huge manufacturing facility, all of the electrical, anything that has to do with electricity in that building, we are designing, touching, at least coordinating, trying to create a bid set that is going to drive good, competitive costs for construction to the building, and that doesn't blow up in your face and have all sorts of change, orders and all this stuff during construction. So that's what an electrical engineer does.
Awesome.
We can go really deep with a lot of stuff. Those semiconductor fabs, they got a lot of nasty gases and liquids and things that they use to process in their processes that will kill you quickly. So detection systems, gas detection, alerting, controls, ventilation gets in the mechanical, but this is what we're doing. Owner wants thing in building. How do we do it safely? Right? And cost effectively. Yeah.
Because that's what, I mean, that's ultimately what they care about. They want that thing, right? Whatever it is, they want the outcome. They don't care necessarily about, how you use Revit or how,
That's right.
this and that.
Usually how I frame it for, I mean, even senior engineers and not a lot of people really think about it to the fundamentals. It's like we are creating contractual documentation. Like we are creating the roadmap for the owner on their behalf to get them the building and the process that they need. Like that's really what we're doing. And we do have big levers to pull on cost and safety and schedule and maintenance when it's turned over and protection of their asset once we're long gone. Like we should be thinking about all those things. We are writing that contract that tells somebody else, these are the things that you need to stick to. These are the procedures. These are the requirements. You're the builder, we bow down to you. Like installing an electrical box would be hard for me, okay? I get it. But, these are the requirements. So we try to speak to the contractors too, So it's not just like, I'm good at putting panel schedules together. Okay, great, let's go draw it. Just think about a higher level. Like we are all part of this mechanism that is way more than what we're doing right in front of us.
Yeah, and we should be working together, right, as a team. Yeah. Even though sometimes there's breakdowns in that. So one thing I was noticing looking at your bio. I like some of the stuff you had to say on here. For example, tying back to what I just said, but your mission is to make it unreasonable for customers to work with anyone else through unparalleled service communication, innovative thinking, and technical excellence. So that's a pretty high bar right there. How do you hit that bar?
You just try every day, man. Of course there are systems to put in place. There are golden rules at which to operate by, and core values, and I have all those, and you do too, that support that mission. And I wanted to take I don't see any other AEC firms saying stuff like that, or taking the approach or framing it that way. So I really thought I'm kind of a punchy dude. I wanna throw a punch, right? I want to be like, our mission is to make it unreasonable that you work with, like, if you chose to work with somebody else, that would be a failure of the mission, right? Like, we want to do so well and protect your assets so well and have the process go so smoothly that you would why would it even cross your mind to use somebody else?
Yeah, right. And how do you do that though? Like what is it that what makes you different?
Yeah,
that makes it unreasonable.
Let's try to actually make it make sense. Because you can go
Yeah.
off on like all this stuff, like, oh, communicate really well and all, to operationalize this success that we're trying to bring about for our clients. First, you want to ask them, right, and which I've been doing for months, what are your biggest problems? And then you just want to do the opposite of all of that. So when I ask an architect, and I've asked like 40 architects that have talked to me long enough, I say, if you can wave a magic wand, what would be one thing you fix with your engineers forever and it never happens again? So a lot of it comes down to communication, but it's more than that. Like not being on the meetings, even when they don't pertain necessarily to engineering, but gathering context around the project. So they excuse themselves from all meetings, and they charge based on meetings. And if we get to 3 meetings, then the 4th one we got to do an ad service. And I'm just like, oh, that's a pain point for you guys. Okay, so in my proposals, I just say, NLS will attend all meetings. Period. There is no ad service for more meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worked out pretty well so far. Because
Right.
I found that a lot of people are arguing about it. But like I said, I want to do the opposite of what the pain is. So they're like, oh, the people just don't show up, and they're always charging more for meetings. So I'm just, okay, great. Good info, thank you. I'm not going to charge for meetings, and I'm going to be at all of them.
Boom.
So you can, and so that helps them, right? Because it does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get a ton of context. People talking about lighting design, and one interior designer makes a comment about the reflectance on this wall or like in this room, and we don't want and I'm not like this perfect lighting designer, but I'm in charge of the lighting, right? But would they have said anything if I wasn't in that meeting? They obviously care about it, so it shall be addressed. Right?
Well, I mean, yeah,
So
the fact
this,
that you weren't in the meeting, it made there was nothing that came up because you weren't there, and it's like, okay, the electrical engineer's not here, so we're not going to talk about lighting. We're not going to talk about this control system because he's not here. And maybe I did have something that I wanted to bring up, but I didn't, right?
That's right.
I mean, so yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So that's a good example.
Yeah.
And there's probably 100 of those, right? I mean,
There
they're
is.
just little things.
There is. Yeah,
So,
it's like with RFIs and submittal turnarounds and stuff like that. So it's like one of the architects was like, I send the lighting package, and then 2 weeks go by, no response, and then when they do look at it, there's a big problem. So it was 2 weeks go by, now big problem, now we've got to solve this. So what is my operationalized version of this? As soon as a submittal comes in, I don't care what it is or what I'm doing, you just open the PDF. You graze it, and you go, oh, there's not any big problems here. This one looks good. Set it to when you're going to do it the next day in your RFI block. That's great. But at least you opened it, right?
yeah.
And then you can identify, oh, there's a huge problem here. This doesn't even match the plans. They sent us the wrong one. This is for another job, and the sub messed it up. Immediately reply, this is the wrong one, send the new one. Then you're not you're stacking these schedule headaches for your client every time you don't do that. And so, and I even put it right in my proposals. They're like, we're tired of waiting forever. Great, I'm going to do the opposite. You won't wait forever. Submittal and RFI responses happen, right? First touch within 24 hours, and then response time is 3 days if there's no big deals, and then 5 days if we've got to work through something. But that's better than the 15, that they're waiting. So it's right in the scope. It's right in the scope.
Well, and you're in a great spot because you can ask these questions with no baggage right now, like the 40 architects that you asked. I mean, because
it's the perfect time.
People don't always love to give you negative criticism, right? Like, I've noticed this, right? And I've got, believe it or not, we haven't always done unreasonable customer service on every job, as you say it. And so there are some clients where maybe they're not happy, right? But it's hard to get feedback from that person about what the unhappiness is because they don't want to say like you stink, right? I mean, it wasn't like we designed a safe building, right? But it was some things like this probably, like, hey, you just didn't get back with us soon enough, or there was just some headaches with the design, and we just didn't really want to use you again. But you're in a great spot where you can listen to those things and hopefully adapt. And I mean, and the other thing is,
and I will. And dude, nobody doesn't make mistakes. Like I will make mistakes,
of course,
right? But they're just not. This puts me in the best chance not to do that.
And I mean, hopefully you can build a relationship that when you do make that mistake, that they can share that with you. Like, hey, that was kind of bummy that you
yes
that you didn't come to that meeting when you said you were going to come to all the meetings.
Yeah. Yep. And since you've always asked and we've always been open, here's the feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And when you get feedback, you can say thank you and everything. So
right.
So what is going well for NLS? What does NLS stand for, by the way, if you don't mind my asking?
That is never lose sight. So
okay.
Yeah. We the kind of quick backstory is wanting to get out of whatever you want to label it, the rat race, whatever. The continual cycle of going to the job, coming home, taxes are paid, you kind of maybe get like a 2% raise the next year, and then you put in all this effort, and then the building or the business enterprise value is skyrocketing, the wealth generation is skyrocketing, your paycheck is not great, your expenses go up, then you gotta whatever. I don't want to not do that anymore. And then, but I also didn't want to lose sight of where we started and where we came from and how our what our family history is like, and some important things that we shouldn't let go of. So I'm going to play this new game, and I'm going to jump into business, and I'm going to try my damnedest to make it that I'm financially free, and having to get a new set of tires on my truck doesn't matter anymore. Do you want to take a vacation? Yes. Where do you want to go? Just point on the world and we'll go. I want to be able to do that, but I don't want to lose sight of all the other stuff that makes me who I am. So that's NLS. There's a different version that I like to joke with people, but I'll save that for the next time I come on the podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Well, we'll keep that little nugget out there then.
There you go.
That. So the question though also was, thank you for sharing that. But the other question is, what is working for NLS right now?
Yeah. So what's working really well is first of all, the community is really receptive. I know why they are, but it's great that they are. What's working in my favor a lot is that the supply of really good electrical PEs is low, and that the demand for them is extremely high. So that's working very well for me. So my efforts to cold call, cold email, reach out, provide my value statement, and then have it turn into work is, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's working well. So that's going well. So converting from first search online, new architect, never heard of them, to reach out to getting a job is going well.
Awesome.
The percentages are pretty good, I guess, compared to what I find online as stats. So that's good. And I guess what else is going well? I don't know, man. That's what I've been in is business development, because that's the constraint. I have started a business. Nobody knows who I am. What is the constraint? That nobody knows who I am. So I have to go tell them who I am. So that's what I do, just hours upon hours upon hours, is just reach out. But yeah, the getting clients and doing good work has been working out well. And so, and it's kind of from everything, the website, emails, calls, LinkedIn, it's just so random. It's just coming in. So I guess I'm happy about that.
Yeah, awesome. We'll keep it up. I mean, you want to keep that going. I read. There's an author, Jeb Blunt. Have you read any of his material? Fanatical Prospecting is one.
Okay, that sounds like what I've been doing.
It sounds like you're already kind of on the fanatical prospecting camp, but that's a great resource, in my opinion. And oh, the thing I was going to point out, obviously that's a good resource, but the other thing was he calls it to the 30-90 rule, which you've heard of the 80-20 rule.
Okay.
Have you heard? The 30-90 rule basically says that the 30 days that we're in right now, the efforts that you do for prospecting, you won't really see for 90 days.
True.
So if you think about it, like June, you didn't really see the impact of that until like September.
I can tell you that
You
that's
just
true.
got that job, and it's like, oh, I didn't really reach out to them until like June or March. And they finally, because there's life cycle of their project, right, and so forth. Especially in this world, it's not like you're getting new jobs every single day as an architect. I mean,
Right.
So their life cycle.
And your message can come through at just the wrong time.
At just the wrong
there's
time.
an email from Jake. Delete. Because they just weren't even interested at all.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of the clients, like, and it's so, because one of the jobs I just finished was with a client that they saw the email and was like, okay, and just forgot about it, and then probably like almost 2 to 3 months later, was like, oh, I've got this electrical engineering problem now. And it in my marketing material, it said, we solved this problem for you. And he said, oh, he dug in his email. Oh, yeah, it's Jake. And it gave me a call. So it's like that 30-90, it really is. And then the financial impact is even further than that. So,
right. Yeah, because then you don't get paid for another 90 days,
that's
right?
And then you got to chase it. And that's the whole reason that I do upfront. I go, I do not start work until I have 50% of my fee in my bank account. And that doesn't always work, right? But you start there. Right. You're just like, yeah. And most people are reasonable. They're like, oh, I understand. You're just starting, and you need to cover your expenses. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it also helps me I can grow the business faster if I'm not waiting for the money.
Right, exactly. I mean, you got to have cash up front, I mean, in my opinion. Now, you're going to end up working, some of the games that you have to play to work with the big boys, sometimes you can't always get a deposit.
That's right.
But
I've already run right into it. Like
you got to decide, do I want to play that game or not? And I actually, my most popular LinkedIn post of all time was about that topic. Mm-hmm. I mean, it went in the firestorm, because I was like, I lost a job because of that. I was like, I just can't work with you, and it was more than that, because I do projects without a deposit. But I'm like you. I prefer and I request it.
Yes. And
sometimes they say, no, we're just not going to do it. Like, we're not getting the money. We're not going to pay you the money.
That's right.
And I'm like, well, let's work anyway, because I really want to work on this job. And I really like you. And I think this is going to be a good project.
Yep.
The problem with that particular one was I didn't really like the guy.
Well, yeah, because as soon as they decline to give you a deposit, or really it's just a payment up front. If they decline to do that, what's the next level? Well, do I like you? What's your history? What's your reputation? Then you start really digging into that stuff. Because if you get a payment ahead of time, you can do good work because you've gotten the payment.
Yeah. And
then you can submit very value-driven work. You've been paid, it's done. And if they don't want to pay the rest of it, at least you've had that 50%. So it just makes the conversation a little different.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing better work for them. You're helping them look good. You're doing all those things you said about being unreasonable, et cetera. But you can't do that if you're taking loans out on your 401k. I mean, come on, right?
I only got so much left, people. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, Jake, I've taken up a lot of your time. I do want to ask you, our burning question of the podcast, we want to talk about, you're enhancing the world around you and why you do what you do. Is there anything, I mean, we've talked a lot about that. I think we've already hit on that a lot, but is there any other ways that you feel like you're enhancing the world around you that, like your why statement? Why do you do what you do?
Yeah, for sure. The Impactful Engineer podcast is one of the best things I've done to enhance the world around me. I think that being able to log into your phone, and as long as you've paid your cell bill, that you can listen to everything that experienced people have to say about what they've seen work, like, that's just gold. So I think that's providing a huge service to the podcast you're doing. Like, someone's thinking about starting their firm and they listen to this episode and we've had this great conversation around it, that's positive energy around it. Yes, you want to be real. You gotta be good. Like, if I wasn't good, I would have fallen flat on my face. But you shouldn't be letting. I just don't want people to be so scared to take risks and do things. So that's part of my message too. Is like, stop being so afraid of everything, and yeah, think about things, but take the steps. Don't let every little thing that everyone else says, make you rethink it. Oh, well, did you think about this? And it's like, well, that's apparent in your world, and that's doing what it's doing for you, but that's not my world, and that's not my life, right? So like, try to not let things stack on you that other people have to say. I would say, like, if when I was, perfect example, I'm going to start my own business. Everybody that is an employee that has never thought about starting their own business has everything to say about what I'm doing. You've never started a business before. Why would I listen to you? You're not doing the thing that I want to do, and I'm going to let you tell me what the problems are going to be, and did you think about this? It's like, yeah. I don't want people to be afraid. Just, you are the plan. That's another thing that I can drop is, one of the main messages for the podcast is like, no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to just help you along. You are the plan. You're the one that does it.
It's your life.
Right? It's your life. You do not want to get to a point where 10 years down the road and you've said all along the way that you're not doing certain things because other people have told you, of all the pitfalls, and you're listening to their advice and all this stuff. They don't care. They're just telling you, like, they don't know what else to say to you. Oh, you're starting a business? Oh, well, congratulations. If there's anything that I could do to help you with that, you just let me know. But, like, take a shot. I'm so glad you're going to do that. Here to help. Like, you're not going to get a ton of that, right?
Right.
But even if you do, you take that for what it is. It's like, cool, this person's willing to help, and maybe I'll take them up on that. That makes me feel good. But it's still you. Like, so don't listen to the bad. Don't listen to the great. Don't, like, be inspired where you want to be inspired, but certainly don't go low because people are trying to, like, pile stuff on you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does.
Listen to yourself.
I like it. I mean, it's some good inspiration. So, I like, I like the podcast. You and your brother, you guys have some good. I mean, I've benefited from it. I'm like, the communication one was really helpful for me, and I try to keep up as much as I can. I can't keep up with all the podcasts these days, but I definitely enjoy it when I listen to it. It's a good one. So everybody listening in, go check out the Impactful Engineer podcast as well. There's a ton of great insights about developing yourself as an engineer and your career and communicating with people, just stuff that comes up, like how to deal with people at the office and just stuff like that. I mean, it's just a ton of good information. So, and then, just the risk thing, I just wanted to say this because maybe to somebody who's starting their own gig, or maybe to you, but I mean, I read a lot. I mean, Dan Miller, 48 Days to the Work You Love. He wrote a book. It was one of the first ones I read about entrepreneurship. Another one, No More Mondays. But he talked a lot about we're all entrepreneurs. We're all entrepreneurs. Yeah. And do you want to have one client, which is your boss, like your company that you work for? If you have a job, you have one client. That's how many clients you have. And if they fire you, guess what? You have 0 clients tomorrow. Right. Now, in your situation and my situation, we have, I have, 100 clients or 50 clients. It depends on the day of the week, I guess. Now, they're not all happy. We talked about that earlier. But if one fires us, guess what? We still got 49 left. Right. I mean, that's the secret of entrepreneurship that people don't think about, right? So like it's actually less, his point was it's less risky to be an entrepreneur than to have a job.
I think so.
So anyway, it's a thought process.
I knew, like, if I could say one last thing, I knew that if I completely failed, I could just go back to work. just some time would have passed. Like, so what was I really supposed to be scared of? Like I said, electrical PEs that know their stuff. There's all the really great ones are locked down, and then all the companies still need more of them. So I literally just have to raise my hand and say, you know what, I did this business thing, I learned all these skills from it, figured out it's really not for me. I'm ready to get back to work, and then I bet you that within a month I'd have a job for more money than when I left.
There you go.
And a better sign-on package and whatever. You know, I have so much leverage right now. I could demand a team, a division, you know what I mean? Like it I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think you're in a good spot, and I think you've got a good thing going. I like a lot of your ideas as far as business. I've learned a lot from you today just about that, and you know, in fact, the my banner, by the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but it says we make architects look good.
There you go.
So I like your saying there. Was there anything that I missed today that you wanted to hit on, Jake?
Well, like all this stuff is not. It's my interpretation of what I've been learning and my experience. It's not me. Like, get out there and learn from books and people. You're not right. You're wrong most of the time. Just go learn. Change your perspective. Use things that are beneficial to you. For so long, it was all about me, independent. Like, I can figure it out. If I can't figure it out myself, then I'm not worthy of, you know, learning it from somebody else, because then I'll have stolen it. Like, if you have that mindset, and I think a lot of engineers do, because I talk to them, and I've worked with a lot of engineers, go learn, man. Just this is everything I say and do is not. You're standing on the shoulders of the giants before you. Like, you learn, and if I don't know how to be clear with it. Go learn. Go listen to podcasts, read books, talk to people, gain insights, be open.
Well, like your grandfather. I mean, he was designing buildings before you were born.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, was there anything we could learn from these people before us, right? I mean,
always.
It's already been done, right?
Most of the stuff I know. It's already been done.
Why are we reinventing the wheel all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I would say the only last thing that would make your life a lot better if you're looking to improve is when you do learn the stuff, go do it, like, immediately. Take action and do the stuff. You know, because you can get caught in that loop of just reading and listening and learning and going, that's a great idea, and then not putting it into practice. That's like the best thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, and not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, you know, and that's
correct.
Okay, right?
Insert whatever thing.
But it still applies. I mean, you still can learn, you can improve, and get better as a person and as an engineer. So awesome. Well, Jake, it was great. And by the way, so I think we've said a couple times, you know, your podcast. How do people get a hold of you? How do they listen to you, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, searching the Impactful Engineer podcast gets you right there. I used to be really active on LinkedIn. I still am, kind of like creeping, and I check it a lot and make comments. But I'm not like posting a whole bunch. But you can always reach me there. And then I have people reach out and I talked to somebody the other day about they're interested in getting into the AC industry, and so we talked for a while and cleared some things up, and I'll probably end up, you know, being a mentor type of person to bounce ideas off of and help them along their way because they want to start their own business. You know, I'm always open to helping people, and if I don't have time, I'll tell you.
Yeah. So hit him up. He can help.
He
can help you out.
Yeah.
I can help you out if you're in my area of influence, but yeah, he's got a lot of good information on that podcast. So go check him out.
Appreciate it.
Well, Jake, it was fun having you on. I look forward to having you back. I'm going to hear about that story that you mentioned, and maybe some more driving stories too. So
plenty more to tap into.
All right, take care, buddy.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to today's episode of Enhance, and please leave a like, a subscribe, or a follow, and we'll see you next time.
Mac, did you want to say anything to the group?
Hit the like button and the subscribe button. Turn on your
Yeah,
notifications.
we'll take a picture. We'll do a little. So yeah, Mac, he's a firefighter. We're gonna have him on sometime too, by the way. All right. Thanks everybody. Take care.